Hi everyone. So today we are going to begin with this new subject which is corporate and management accounts. It comes under your module 2 paper number 5. Okay, it is an MCQ paper. Okay, it is an MCQ paper. For all those who do not know me, let me introduce myself. I am Professor Fatima Kagalwala. I have also done my CS, my LLB, and I've done my masters in commerce. Okay, with CS, the fun part for me was accounts. Okay, when I had given my attempt, and then that time we had two accounts papers. Okay, we had cost separately, we had financial accounts separately. Okay, so cost accounts was MCQ, but financial accounts was a proper solving paper. Okay. Now, however, with the change in the syllabus, they have clubbed corporate accounts and they have clubbed management and cost accounts together and made it one paper, and the entire paper is MCQ. Trust me, even if those who are they have never done accounts previously, or they are scared about, oh, what is debit, what is credit, there is nothing like this. It's not rocket science at all. It is simple techniques. Once you understand those techniques, I'm telling you, this is a very scoring paper. Okay, if you are able to give your best, your 100% in what I am teaching you, and you are able to understand that and practice it at your end, you are going to get very good marks, which will really put up your average. Okay, your average will increase. Okay, I'm going to do chapter wise. Okay, each chapter I will inform you what has to be done in that chapter, how much of theory, how much of practical, everything we are going to go through with chapter wise. Okay, and it is not compulsory. I may not start with, I'm not going to go in that alignment first, second, third, fourth. No, I will be going as per those chapters which will make your concepts first strong. Alright, so whichever chapter I am doing, I will be informing you all. I will be also sending the notes of those chapters, the question bank. I am solving it and I am sending it across to you, so that even if you miss copying while I am teaching, you have those solutions ready. Okay? Now, to begin with this corporate and management accounts paper, since it is an MCQ, this MCQ is not totally on practicals. Okay, it is not that they will be asking you all the practical questions. It is a mixture of theory and practical. You can say 50-50. Okay, depends. Sometimes 50 marks is practical, 50 marks is theory. Sometimes 60 marks is practical, 40 marks is theory. But on an average, I will tell you, it would be somewhere 60 is to 40. 60 will be practical and 40 will be theory on an average, if we see the past 3 years attempts papers. Okay, now first part of your this paper, part A, is corporate accounting, and then we come to part B, which is management accounting. Okay, it also has an element of cost accounting in this, a little bit of element, because we need to understand cost accounts also. So there is a little 2-3 chapters, to make our basics strong about what is cost accounting. So we have management accounting for 40 marks and we have corporate accounting for 60 marks. Now for the first chapter, now if you see my index and if you will try to compare my index with the index given in your module, okay, there is a difference. Because in your module, there are certain chapters in which there are internal chapters. So I have split them all, okay, for your convenience. Okay, so you will know that, okay, actually, though in the module it seems to be only 12 chapters or 13 chapters in part A, but actually there are 16. Because certain chapters have chapters within them. Okay, so I have divided them and I have made a fresh new index for you all. Okay. Coming to the first chapter, which will talk about the introduction to financial accounting. So even if you all do not have the knowledge of accounts previously, you're coming from a background which is other than commerce, okay, maybe arts or science, wherein you have not done accounts previously, this chapter is going to make all our concepts clear. Okay, what is accounting, how do we do accounting, what is a journal entry, everything. Okay, so introduction to financial accounting, it is both, but it is more of theory and less of practical. Okay, so you can concentrate here on theory more. Okay, the weightage of this chapter, I will say it is at around say 5 to 8 marks on an average. In MCQ paper, all the MCQ papers which you all have in your CS executive, we cannot give you weightage which is very sure. We can tell you on an average, because certain times when it is an MCQ paper, they happen to ask from those chapters which they have not asked previously. Okay, so you have to do everything which I teach you. Okay, and trust me, it is going to be very interesting, right? The next chapter is the corporate accounting. Okay, the accounts of the companies. We are company secretary, so we should know how to read the accounts of a company, how to read their profit and loss statement, how to read their balance sheet. Okay, we will be talking about dividend, etc. Okay, so this is also more of theory. Okay, say when this is same 5 to 8 marks. Okay, then accounting for issue of shares. This is one of the very important chapter. In this you can concentrate on practical. Okay, again this is around 8 to 10 marks on an average. In your issue of shares, we will be doing issue of rights and bonus shares, redemption of preference shares, and buyback of shares. So all these 4 chapters are related with shares, and they are all, you can say, you can concentrate more on practical only, and they all together would be around 5 to 8 marks. Okay, then coming to issue and redemption of debentures, this is another important chapter. Okay, here we will be doing more of practical. Okay, which is again 8 marks on an average. Then underwriting of shares, this is also this you can do theory plus practical. Okay, this is around 4 marks on an average. Again, this is one part of shares, ESOPs. Okay, employee stock option, employee stock purchase schemes. Okay, this is theory plus certain sums, for practice we will be solving, again 4 marks on an average. Okay, then coming to financial statement interpretation. How do you read the statements? What is the meaning of a director's report? What are managerial remuneration? What is the meaning of segmenting report? So all this is again theory plus practical. Everything is theory. In fact, in this chapter, only MR and segment reporting. MR is nothing but managerial remuneration. We will come to it. Do not worry about anything. Okay, MR and segment reporting, that we will be doing the sums for the same. This is again on an average 4 to 5 marks. Then very important chapter is consolidation of accounts. We will be concentrating only on practical, because the practicals which I will be doing with you all, that will solve your theory questions also. Again 8 to 10 marks. Corporate financial reporting, another important chapter. Okay, which is theory plus practicals, 5 marks on an average. Okay, it's a small chapter. Cash flow statement, it is more of a practical.
मम्मी दीदी वो दूध नहीं पी रही है, चैटिंग कर रही है.
Okay, I'm sorry. Then we will be doing overview of accounting standards. Okay, now chapter number 14, 15 and 16, all these chapters are about accounting standards, about the international accounting standards. Okay, all are only theory chapters, only theory, and all together on an average is for 15 marks. Okay, we cannot skip any of these chapters, any of the theory chapters. We have to thoroughly do the accounting standards, because when I just saw the last attempts paper, most of the questions, when they begin the paper itself, most of the questions were on international accounting standards, which in the previous attempts they have not happened to ask. So here we are going to study and cover everything. Okay, for your MCQ practice, since this is an MCQ subject, for your MCQ practice, you all are going to practice the Taxman scanner. We will practice it together. Okay, the sums which I will be doing with you all, most of your MCQs will get solved there only. Okay, because they will be a part, you know, the sums. I am going to solve the full sums. Okay, we are not going to only do the practice of MCQ. No, we will solve the entire sums properly. Okay, like a proper full-fledged sum. Once we solve those, no, so your MCQ will become very simple, because MCQ will be, they will be picking it up a part of that sum and asking you. So for MCQ practice, we will be solving Taxman scanner after every chapter. I will tell you which chapter to solve, not to solve, okay, how to go about with it as well. Alright, I hope up till here you are clear. For 60 marks, 40 marks, 40 marks is about management accounts. Okay, this talks about costing, management accounts, budgets, ratio analysis, marginal costing. These are all based on management accounting. We will be taking up this as and when we will move to the management accounting part. Okay, right now we are concentrating on corporate accounting, which is for 60 marks. To begin with corporate accounts, okay, first chapter is the introduction to financial accounts. Now this introduction to financial accounts is given to us so that we understand actually how to record a journal entry, or to understand that what is debit, what is credit, what are the classification of accounts. Okay, for those students who have never done accounts previously. Okay, for those who have done it, for them this will be a very, very simple chapter wherein they will read it and finish it off. But I have divided this chapter in two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will be the basic understanding of this chapter, and we will solve one small sum along with this chapter. Okay, so now introduction, let's begin. Introduction to financial accounts. Okay, now one very simple thing is financial accounts. Okay, what is accounts? First we need to understand what is accounting. Say for example, okay, your father has given you rupees 1000, okay, as a pocket money. However, he has told you to give you a statement at the end of the month. Okay, a statement, okay, in which you will explain him that where have you utilized this 1000, or how much is the balance left, or are you having a deficit of the balance. Okay, so now with this 1000, say suppose you saw a movie, okay, 200 rupees. Then second, you went for dinner, you spend some 500 rupees. Okay, so opening balance which you had with you was 1000, after which you have spent certain expenses for movie, for dinner, and now you are left with 300 rupees at the end of the month. This is known as bookkeeping. Okay, you are writing, like how you say hum day to day transactions का या तो हिसाब लिखते हैं. If you have seen ever your parents writing, okay, this month what was the expenses, this was the amount given in the house, okay, from there we have done this much of expenses. It is known as bookkeeping. So this is also something which is a bookkeeping, wherein you are recording the transactions, okay, which are again financial, monetary in nature, financial in nature. That is why we say it is a financial accounts. Okay, now if it is a small affair of this 1000 rupees etc., which was given to you in cash, and you have also done the expenses also in cash, Okay, up till bookkeeping it is fine, okay. But what if it is a big organization? Okay, like say Tata's, we have Ambani's, okay, Reliance. Okay, so if it is a big organization who have to record their day-to-day expenses, okay, and who has to show their profit or loss to the entire society, like, okay, we are all the stakeholders, there are shareholders, there are directors, okay, there are people who have given them loan, there are creditors. What if they have to record this? They can just not do bookkeeping, they have to follow accounting treatment. Okay, so accounts is one step further. Okay, accounting is a step further to bookkeeping. Accounting is nothing but you record the transactions which are again monetary in nature, monetary transactions, okay, which will in such a manner it is systematic. It requires a specific knowledge. It is a systematic recording of the transactions. How it is systematic? Because it has to be recorded in the manner, and it has to be in a specific manner, and there is a classification of accounts. Okay, classification. We will come to it. What is classification? So it's a summarized manner. Okay, you record the transactions in a systematic format with the help of the classification of accounts, and then give a summary of it in a summarized manner. Okay, because as a shareholder, or if I want to invest in Reliance, I would like to see how much profit they make. Okay, I would like to see how many assets have they got as compared to what is their liabilities. Okay, so I will be interested in all this. So I need a summarized form, okay, of the accounts of the transactions which a company has undergone. So this is known as financial accounting. Now there are three important branch, okay, of accounts. One is financial accounts, which we are doing in this chapter. Second is the cost accounts, and the third is the management accounts. Okay, financial accounts is nothing but it talks about your profit and loss statement, profit and loss account. It talks about your balance sheet, how many assets and liabilities does a company have, okay, at the end of the year, everything at a given period of time. Okay, it has a duration. Accounts are for a period of 1 year. Okay, so financial accounts is related to P&L, balance sheet. Okay, cost accounts is related to understanding or ascertaining, to ascertain the cost of a given goods or service, to which obviously you will add your margin, which is your profit, and thus arrive at a selling price. So we have cost accounts, which is related to ascertaining of the cost. Okay, the cost, there will be addition of the profit, and that will become my selling price to my customers, then whether it is goods or whether it is services, right? Management accounts, okay, it is those accounts which uses cost accounts plus financial accounts features in such a manner to provide accounts in more summarized form to the managers, to the management, you can say management of the company, because the management are the decision makers. Okay, they make the policy decisions. Okay, they are the ones who make strategic management decisions which are there for the long run of the company. So now if I go to this management, or I go to the chairman or director of the company, and I tell him read this balance sheet or read this P&L, he is not interested. He knows it. Why? Because it is his own company. What is he interested in is he is interested in knowing the ratios. What is the profit ratio? 20% this year. How much it was last year? What is the budget? How much budget do we have for this particular product? How much can we spend? Okay, So he's in, and he wants to know the value of the company. So when these the elements of financial and cost accounts are used, okay, to provide accounts to the management department in a more summarized form, okay, which help them in making decisions, okay, management decisions, strategic planning, okay, those are known as management accounts. Okay, so we have this three branches in accounts. And what is accounts? It's nothing but it is a recording of a transaction, systematic form, with the help of classification of accounts. Okay, now whenever we are going to talk about accounts, okay, the first thing in accounting process, okay, accounts is nothing but it is a process. Okay, first thing is we record the transaction. Okay, so when we record the transaction, basically we record it in the form of a journal entry. Okay, the first thing what happens is in accounts is a journal entry, which will show you what has to be debited, what has to be credited. अभी ये कैसे पता चलेगा क्या डेबिट करना है क्या क्रेडिट करना है? So that we have to see the classification. Okay, which type of account it is, and then we will understand whether it should be debited or whether it should be credited. After the journal entry, the process is we put that entries in the ledger. Okay, we make a ledger. Ledger helps us understand what will be the balances of account. So if I am making a debtors account, okay, of my company, I am recording all my debtors, or if I am recording all my creditors, okay, etc., or I am recording my cash, it will help me understand how much is the balance in that particular account. With the help of this ledgers and with the help of knowing the balance, we prepare the trial balance. Okay, trial balance is that particular statement which gives you the details. It is a statement giving details of various accounts. Okay, तो एक बार journal entry हो गई. Once the journal entry is done, that journal entry is posted to the ledger. Ledger helps in ascertaining the balance. That balance is taken to the trial balance. So trial balance is like a statement. How do you get a bank statement? है ना? So it is like a statement. It will give you, okay, you have these accounts. You have capital, you have debtors, you have creditors, और इसमें इतना इतना balance है. Debit है, credit है, वो देखते हैं बाद में. ठीक है? So we have a trial balance. This trial balance, with the help of this trial balance, we then prepare trading account, profit and loss account of a company, and the balance sheet at the end of the year. End of the year. Okay, trading account help us to understand the gross profit of a company, gross profit or gross loss. P&L account, profit or loss of the company at the end of that year. And balance sheet is the position of the company. The assets side should be equal to the liability side. Okay, every assets or every liability need to have a corresponding asset. Okay, whenever we record in accounts, there is one rule. Whenever we record a journal entry, okay, whenever a transaction is recorded, the debit should be equal to the credit. Okay, so this is the basic process of financial accounting, right? Now I'll take you on to my notes first. Then we will go to the classification of accounts also. Okay, up till now what we have finished, okay, that we will just go through it. So what is accounting? I told you it is recording of the monetary or financial transaction of a business entity. So it will help us understand profit loss, asset liability, increase or decrease in capital. Okay, then we have the definition of the accounts from ICAI, which is recording is an art. Okay, systematically writing down the transactions in your book, classifying them, then summarizing the transactions to have a easy understanding. Stages of accounts is transaction of the business, okay, which you have identified and then recorded, different classes and types of transaction, and then summarize it, that is known as financial statements. So अगर कल उठ के तुमने किसी ने बोला कि I want to see the financial statements of this company, it means they want to see profit and loss account and balance sheet of the company. Okay, 3 branches: financial accounts, cost and management account. Okay, now functions of the accounting. You can read functions, advantages and limitations of accounting. Okay, bookkeeping. The example which I started with was a bookkeeping. Okay, I maintain a diary in which I keep on recording all the transactions every month, etc., which is very clerical and repetitive in nature. Okay, does not require any electronic device also. But now for accounting, everything is done through a particular software. Okay, you have Tally, if you all have heard about it. You have ERP softwares, okay, with the help of which accounts are recorded. So you can do the difference between bookkeeping and accounting. Okay, then system of accounting. Now coming to this important concept, what is system of accounting? We have cash system and we have accrual system. Okay, system of accounting. Cash and accrual. Okay, cash system. Take an example of your family doctor. Okay, your doctor. Okay, you have any problem, okay, you have fallen ill, etc., you go to the doctor, he will give you medicines, okay, and he charges you rupees 50 for whatever medicines he gives you. Okay, so you really do not have any kind of a credit system at your doctor's place. Okay, everything is done over the on cash basis, correct? हाँ, फैमिली डॉक्टर्स के पास हम जाते हैं, ओके, कुछ भी है, लाइक यू हैव fever, etc., he will take money cash over. There and there the transaction gets over. So small people, like say these, you know, advocates who do these notary thing, or you say doctors, they are the one who have small stalls. Okay, they will take money and they will provide you the goods or the service, etc. The transaction there and there gets over. But this does not happen when I am talking about business entities. I'm talking about big organizations. Okay, everything over there happens in accrual basis. Okay, so if the transaction has taken place, it has to be recorded. Okay, whether or not you have received or paid cash. So there is no importance of cash payment or cash receipt in this kind of accrual system of accounting. Okay, once the transaction has taken place, you have to record. The easiest example of accrual, say example, सेल ऑफ गुड्स ऑन क्रेडिट होता है ना आजकल. गुड्स अगर क्रेडिट पे इफ यू डू नॉट सेल, नोबडी विल कम एंड टेक ओनली, होलसेल सेल ऑफ गुड्स ऑन क्रेडिट. The sale has taken place. I will have to record the transaction, whether I have received the goods or I have not received, whether I have received the amount for my sale or not. Okay, because though it is on credit, I am going to receive the money on a later date, but my transaction will have get recorded because I have sold the goods today. Okay, so everything is on the accrual basis. So when I talk about big organizations do accounting systems on accrual basis only. Okay, so let's read this. Cash system. In cash system, your entries are made only when cash is received or paid. Okay, it is incompatible for income determination. You can't ascertain your income as such, but with the help of these accrual system you can ascertain how much profit or loss you have made at the end of the year. Okay, the financial statements which you prepare with the help of cash system, you will never be able to give you true and fair view of the organization. Okay, very small business organizations, example doctors and lawyers, they all use this cash system. However, we use accrual system. It is known as mercantile system of accounting. Okay, account recording amounts due for payment or received. Even when they are due, you have not yet received, even if they are due, we record it. Record the transaction in the period in which they occur. Okay, so revenue here is recognized irrespective whether cash is received or not. So for me, my sales was my revenue. I recorded it though even I did not receive any cash. Cost over here are matched against the revenue. Okay, for that particular period. So I will have cost. I will also have revenue. Cost, expenses. Revenue means income. So I have expenses also and I have incomes also. Okay. Then costs which are not charged to the income are carried forward. Any loss which has a lossless utility is written off loss. Now this all you will understand as and when the time will go. Okay, with the transactions which we will record, you will have a better understanding. Okay. So costs which are not charged to any income are carried forward means carried forward cost also you can have. You have already paid for a particular service, but you have not yet received the service, you will carry forward it. Okay. Then you have the users of accounting system. What are the characteristics of the accounting information? This is all basically read. Role of an accountant. Now coming to the accounting principles. Okay, accounting principle is nothing but the language of accounts. Okay, it is a language by which a business communicates with another people, with the outside world. Okay, when I as a business entity, I make my accounts, okay, and you are my shareholder and I am giving you my accounts to read. So it has to be as per the principle which is generally followed and understood by everyone. Correct? Okay, though even you do not have any knowledge of accounts, but today if I give you a profit and loss statement, you will be able to ascertain, no? These are the expenses, these are the incomes, so this is the profit. Right? So it is the language of the business. Okay, it is communicated to the outside world in this language. Okay, so those are known as the accounting principles. The body of doctrines. Doctrines means the rules. There are certain rules which we have to follow in accounts. Okay, through which the accounting is being done. So it is being explained to the outside world. So it's like a guide. Okay, you have to sort of follow these accounting principles. We have concepts. We have certain conventions. Okay, now what is the concepts? First concept is the business entity concept. Okay, business entity. We are doing transactions recording, financial accounts we are doing for a particular business entity. Okay, entity is separate, its owners are separate, creditors are separate, managers are separate, everyone else is separate. Entity is a separate person. Okay, so a company is a separate legal person. Okay, it has a separate identity, it has a separate it can hold a bank account in its own name. Okay, it can also hold assets in its own name. So it's a separate legal entity, separate from its shareholders, separate from its owners and management. Okay, all the transactions of the business are recorded in the books of the business for the business. Okay, so it is recording business transactions in the business books and for the business. Okay, the failure to recognize the business as a separate accounting entity, then it will make it very difficult for finding out, okay, the performance of that particular business. Okay, the overall effect of adopting the concept is only business transactions are recorded. Income of profit is the property of the business. Okay, whatever income is earned, profit is made, it is the profit of the business unless that profit is distributed. Okay, so say suppose it's a partnership firm. Okay, those two partners have worked together and they have earned a profit. Okay, they made a profit of 1000 rupees. So that 1000 profit is a profit of the firm unless the partners have decided to distribute it and take it along with themselves, 500. Okay, so unless it is distributed, the amount is all belonging to that particular entity. The personal assets of the owners are not considered while recording the assets of the business entity. Everything belonging only to the business in the name of that business entity, we will be recording it. Money measurement, we record only monetary transactions. We do not record any non-monetary transactions like emotions, debts, sentiments, all that is not recorded. Only quantifiable transactions are recorded. Cost concepts. Okay, assets whichever I have bought, say suppose I bought a land and building. Okay, so the actual amount which was involved in purchasing that, involved or spent, I have to record it in that particular amount. Fixed assets, fixed assets are those which are fixed for a long period of time. Land and building, rose I'll buy, no. Fixed assets. Okay, machinery, plant, fixed. Okay, they are going to give me the fruit of the business in for years to come. Okay, so the fixed assets are at the cost at the time of purchase and has reduction by way of depreciation. Obviously, now say suppose you are buying a car or a bike. Okay, that asset will have depreciation. You buy a AC, correct? So that asset will have a depreciation. Okay, it is not much relevant for investors. Fixed assets, investors really don't see that. They just kind of are more interested in your profit and your distribution of profit, how much dividend this company gives. They're more interested into all those things. Going concern concept. See, since it is an accrual system, that means a transaction which is recorded now, uska paisa, okay, the money may be received in the next year. So it has to be a going concern, no? It should be there, no, in the next year also. So going concern concept means there is an assumption that the business will continue for a long period of time. So if I am taking a plant and machinery, that plant and machinery has a life of 10 years. So I am assuming, right, that the business is also going to run for that long period of time. So business transactions are recorded on the assumptions that the business will continue for a long time. Okay. Then there has to be a distinguish between the assets and expenses. Assets are capital assets. Okay, they are going to be there for long period of time, and expenses are those which are required to run the business on day-to-day basis. So we have to understand the difference in that. And the most important concept is the dual concept. Since we are going to record it, okay, it is known as a double entry book system, that is the accounting system. Double entry, why? Because there is one debit, there is one credit. If there is an asset, there is a liability. Okay, so generally whenever we record the transactions, we have one debit and one will be credit. So debit should always be equal to the credit. Also when I prepare my balance sheet, okay, balance sheet has two sides, okay, two columns. Okay, one year I record my liabilities, means to whom I have to pay. Whom I have to pay, I am a company. Okay, balance sheet I will always see from the point of view of a business entity. I am recording transactions for the business entity. So this is say Reliance Industries Limited, uska balance sheet hai. Liabilities and assets. So liabilities of Reliance, assets of Reliance. Okay, in the liability only I write the share capital or the capital of the company. Why? Because tomorrow if the company, whenever the company will wind up, you have to return back the capital to the owners, right? Now, so anything which is like a company is owing to others, okay, is in a debt, okay, like has to pay to others, like creditors, bank loan, okay, outstanding expenses, so and so forth. That are all liabilities. So in my liability, I always record my capital plus my other liabilities. And assets are all fixed assets. You can also have your current assets, etc. Okay, so your liability side also should always tally with your asset side. Okay, so liability and asset also has to be same. So basically I can say that assets is nothing. Okay, it is nothing but it is liability plus the outside liability plus the capital. I know, because on the liability side only I am recording my capital. Or if I want to find the capital of a given company, I can say acha, capital is nothing but it will be assets minus liabilities. This is there for your MCQs. Okay, very important part. We will be doing a sum on this as well. Okay, so if I told to find the capital, okay, and they have given me my assets and liabilities, I will use this formula. Capital is nothing but assets minus liabilities. Okay, then we have the realization concept. Means what? Revenue is recognized only when a sale is made. So when I make the sale, whether I receive the cash or no, I recognize my revenue. It is my revenue. Okay, profit is nothing but it is receipts minus the payments. Okay, expected income or expected gains cannot be recorded. Expected, you feel that oh sale होने वाला है, no, ऐसा कोई transactions you cannot record. Expected transactions you cannot record. Accrual based, yes, you have made the sale, not received the money, sale has been made, you will record it. Okay, but you are expecting that that person is going to buy my products. Okay, ऐसा कोई expected income या gain record नहीं होता. Okay, accrual concept is all what we are talking about. Okay, so outstanding expenses, you have income received also in advance, you will record it. Outstanding expense means what? Say you have to pay salary, no, to your employees. Okay, you have not paid 2 months salary, okay, for that particular year. So you have to record it. You have to show outstanding salary, company has yet to pay. Income is received in advance. Okay, I took some I was supposed to provide some services. For that I have taken an advance money. So income received in advance, I am yet to provide for that service. Okay, accrual system, I will record it. Income received in advance. Okay, then accounting period, we have a period of which consists of 12 months. Okay, so we prepare the income and revenue statement and we prepare the balance sheet. And the revenue match method is nothing but it is says that revenue minus expenses should give you profit. So if you have if the revenue is more, okay, greater than the expenses, then you will have profit. But say if your expenses are more than your revenue, obviously you will generate loss. Okay, now moving to the accounting conventions. Okay, so accounting principles has two things: accounting concepts and accounting conventions. Conventions is the practice, the tradition in which we are preparing our P&L and the balance sheet and all, etc. Okay, so first thing, it needs to have consistency. Okay, it's a 1 year accounting system, 1 year period, balance sheet after 1 year it is made, revenue statement after 1 year it is made. So if I am providing depreciation, okay, so I should provide it on the, say there are certain methods. Okay, when I provide depreciation on my assets, there are methods, 2-3 types of methods are there. So if I have selected that one method, then I should stick to that one method for that particular year at least. Okay, then disclosures, proper disclosures should be made which gives you a true and fair view. Then the conservatism. Conservatism means that if you are expecting any kind of bad debts or you are expecting that this particular thing, there is a probable loss in this particular thing. Okay, that should be recorded. Okay, you should provide. Okay, why? Say suppose I have debtors of 1 lakh. Okay, on an average I feel that at least 10% I will not get, only because of this COVID system and this COVID year and all. 10% तो नहीं मिलने वाला है, bad debts होने वाला है, people are not going to pay me. Probable losses can be recorded. Okay, probable losses can be recorded. Income anticipated, say suppose I have creditors, okay, and I'm going to pay them before time, so I'm going to get some discount. Income which is anticipated to a particular transaction which is done already. You cannot have those revenues which have not yet taken place only. Okay, so creditors को मैं जब पेमेंट करने जाऊंगी, I know that the creditor has this system that if you pay before time he gives you discount. Okay, so anticipated income, yes, anticipated loss also should be provided in your accounts. Okay, then you provide depreciation to the assets. Okay, so when you have the fixed assets, we provide depreciation. But say you have the IPR, these are tangible assets. But in case of intangible assets, which is like copyrights, patents, trademark, your IPR, we do amortization. Depreciation is for fixed assets, amortization is for IPR. Same concept, okay, same thing. We reduce the value of that particular asset, write off the value of that asset. And materiality is the last concept, which says that yes, whatever is material, only that you should record and ignore insignificant details which are not pertaining to that accounts or to that entity. All right, okay. Then we have accounting standards. Okay, you have like 3 chapters on accounting standards. Why do we have accounting standards? We also have secretarial standards. Likewise, we have accounting standards. Why is this being placed is because obviously there has to be a uniformity in all the business entities. So I will, whatever I want to do, I will do as a business entity. Some other business entity is doing something else. Someone else is doing something else. So if I will not follow a one given guideline, okay, strictly same guidelines to be followed by all the companies throughout the nation. In fact, now it has become all over the world, all over the globe. Only then investment from one country to another country has become possible. Why? Because we are able to read the financial statements coming from a foreign country. They are able to read our financial statements. Okay, so accounting standards have to be there. Okay, only if you are doing your accounts with and as per the standards given, it is a benchmark. As per the standards given, only then your statements will give a true and fair view. Okay, so these accounting standards are being established by ICAI, okay, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Like how we have secretarial standards, ICAI has made the accounting standards. Okay, it is for the harmonization of the diverse accounting policies and practices which were used in India. Now everything has come in one small thing. Okay, everybody has to follow these guidelines only, nothing can go beyond it. Okay, so there are some 32 accounting standards and interpretations which are already being issued. Okay, so each standard gives you how to treat that particular thing. Okay, so if you are doing depreciation, how will you treat depreciation? If you are doing amortization, how will you treat amortization? Okay, everything is already being mentioned. Okay, then we have accounting policies. It refers to the specific accounting principle and the methods of applying those principles adopted by the business entity in presenting and preparation of the financial statements. Okay, so basically all the concepts, principles and conventions, when it comes together, it becomes your accounting policies. Okay, since there are 2-3 methods of depreciation, I have selected straight line method, one of the method in depreciation. So the accounting standard 6, it helps me in understanding how do I calculate depreciation, straight line, WDV, what is best suited for my company, I can then select. Okay, then you have measurement disciplines. This is only read, this is like a summary of everything. Okay, now coming to the main topic, which talks about classification of accounts. Okay, now in this, if you see classification of accounts, there are only two types. Okay, to begin with, only two types of accounts are there. One is personal, one is impersonal. बस इतना समझ लो, एक पर्सनल अकाउंट्स है, एक impersonal अकाउंट्स है. This classification of accounts only will enable you to understand how to debit a particular account, which account should be credited. एक बार डेबिट क्रेडिट समझ में आ गया तो जर्नल एंट्री इज नथिंग बट हाउ टू राइट इट, आई विल शो. Okay, so you have personal accounts and impersonal accounts. Personal means related to some person, correct na? So you can have a natural person like we, you, me, I are some particular debtor or some creditor person. You can have artificial personal accounts, example company, artificial person, or you can have a representative personal account. Together they represent. Okay, they are people only, but together they represent. Like say you are paying wages to all your laborers together. Okay, so together when you're paying rent to 10 different people. Okay, so together when you put them in one group, since you have to pay rent, no, so you group them. You're paying salary, no, so you put एक का नाम लिखो क्या salary में. 100 people are there in my office. I have to pay salary to 100 workers. I'll write each one's name over. No, salary account I'll make. Paying to a person, no, person is involved. Then you have impersonal account. In impersonal, we have real and we have nominal. Okay, I will first take you all to the impersonal accounts. Now, impersonal account में, okay, impersonal is very simple. Okay, impersonal accounts. In impersonal, you have real and you have nominal. Okay, in real also na, you have tangible and intangible. Okay, and in nominal you have only two things. You have expenses and you have an income. Okay, so if it is an expense, simple. If it is an expense to the entity, you will debit it. If it is an income for that entity, I will credit it. Okay, always see from the entity point of view. For that entity, if it is an expense, okay, you will debit. Once you know it is a nominal account, in that nominal account, you need to understand whether it is an expense or whether it is an income. If it is an expense, I will debit. If it is an income, I will credit. Okay. In case of the real account, okay, tangible and intangible accounts hai. Tangible means that now only what I gave you an example. Tangible mein you have these assets which can be seen, touched, felt, है ना? Tangible. Okay. Assets which can be seen, touch, assets, and felt, like your land and building, plant and machinery. Tangible in nature. Intangible is your IPR, your goodwill. You cannot see, touch and feel. Okay, but they are real. Okay, for real there is one rule, simple rule. Okay, you will debit what is coming in the organization comes in, and you will credit what goes out. Okay, for real account, okay, tangible intangible समझा रही हूँ मैं. Tangible में also you have cash. Cash is also tangible. You can see, touch, feel, है ना. So in real accounts, whether it is tangible or whether it is intangible, you will debit if it is coming in the organization. So if I got cash, I will debit. If I bought a land and building, it is coming in the organization, I will debit. And I will credit if it is going out. If I'm selling my say my furniture going out of the organization, I'll credit it. Okay, so in impersonal accounts, two things, real account and nominal account. In nominal account में always you will understand only that this is an expense, समझ में ही आएगा, और this is an income. If expense है तो debit करेंगे, income है तो credit. ठीक है. And in real, if it is coming in, we will debit. If it is going out from the organization, we will credit. Okay, you have to remember all this. Okay, and coming to the personal account. Okay, personal means you're having transactions with your customers, okay, to whom you're selling goods, or the suppliers from whom you buy goods. Okay, so natural persons, as I told you, your suppliers, your receivers. Okay, artificial, your institution, some bank, some firm, etc., with whom you are doing business. And you have a representative personal account, means it represents a person, okay, or a group of person. Say example, rent of 15 shop, which is payable, then all will be the creditors. They can all be grouped together, and you can write rent outstanding account, you can write salary, you can rent or rent paid, or you can say interest is outstanding, you have to pay interest to your creditors, or interest received in advance. Okay, all this is representative personal account. Okay, now in personal account, see the rule of the personal account is very easy. If he is a receiver, he is receiving, that person is receiving, you will debit it. If he is a giver, you will credit him. Okay, so in case of personal account, okay, impersonal account तो हो गया. In case of personal account, okay, if he is a receiver, you will debit. Not receiver of money only, huh? Don't think only from the monetary point of view, cash point of view, no. If he is receiving services, if he is receiver of goods, etc., you will debit him. Okay, but if he is a giver, then you will credit him. Okay, so the golden rules for all these three things are now clear. So you have personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. In case of the real account, you have debit what comes in, credit what goes out. And in nominal account, you have debit the expenses and credit the income. Okay, these three rules, okay, you can write it down, like, you know, in one small box and keep it for yourself. Okay, in case of personal, चलो फटाफट लिख लो. Personal account, debit receiver, credit the giver. Okay, in case of your real account, debit what comes in and credit what goes out. And the last one is the nominal account. Okay, you will debit expenses and you will credit the income. As simple as that. Okay, so these are the golden rules of accounts. Okay, once you have understood this and this goes in your head, all your journal entries will become very simple, very, very simple. Okay, so double entry system, nominal, we have one debit, one credit. Okay, so rules of debit and credit we have already jotted down. Okay, real account, nominal account, and personal account. Okay, so what is important? First, whenever a transaction is given to you, okay, what will you do first? First, you identify the two accounts which are there in that transaction. Then find the type of those two accounts. कौन सा type है? Personal है, real है, nominal, what is it? And then you apply your rule of debit and credit and see, your automatically you will have a journal entry being ready with you. Okay. Accounting equation, I have already told you, accounting equation is nothing but capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. This we will always keep in our mind, because we have to have our balance sheet which should tally. Assets should be equal to liabilities. Okay, so this is the accounting equation. This has to always be there. Okay, so quickly we will just see down on some. Okay, from the following transactions, we have to identify the nature of the accounts which is involved, and you have to tell me which should be debited and which should be credited. Okay, so here there is Mr. Anil. He has started his business with rupees 60,000. Okay, first thing, we are doing accounts for a business entity. Okay, so we will think from the business point of view. Okay, so there are two accounts over here which are involved. एक तो पता ही चल रहा है, one is cash. Okay, Mr. Anil has started his business with cash. So when I think from the business point of view, एक तो है cash, and when I start any business, it is known as a capital, है ना? Mr. Anil, Mr. Anil. चलो यहाँ पे I am writing Mr. Anil. There are two accounts. If I see about the cash from the business point of view, cash is coming in. Cash comes in, so I will debit it. And who is the giver? Mr. Anil. Okay, he is in the personal account. He is the giver, so I will credit him. Okay, so simple. If I want to record a journal entry with the help of this, I'll say cash account debit to Mr. Anil's account, which is credit. Okay, so I have also made the, see, one is cash account and one is capital account. So cash I will debit, capital I will credit. It is Mr. Anil's capital, no? Mr. Anil, and Anil is a personal account. In personal account, the rule is, okay, you debit the receiver, credit the giver. So यहाँ पे Mr. Anil is a giver. He is giving capital to the company. Okay, that is why I have credited him. ठीक है? Next, purchased goods for cash, rupees 25,000. Okay, cash 25,000. Again, from the business entity point of view, you have two accounts. One is cash, one is goods. Again, what is cash? Cash is a real account. Okay, I can see, touch, feel. Goods, again, real account. Cash is going out, you know. It is going out, goes out. And goods are coming in. So this is going out, so cash I will credit, and what comes in I will debit. See here, cash I will credit, and what is coming in? Goods. Okay, goods means I have done a purchase. Okay, so since I have done a purchase, cash account debit, purchase will be cash account credit, purchase will be debit. So here the journal entry will be purchase account debit to cash. Okay, in case of journal entry, I will always write like this. In journal entry is generally with the date. Okay, so whatever is the date here, then you start with first writing whatever is debit side. Okay, so what I have purchased, purchase goods, no? Account, it is always written like this, debit to cash is going out. You do not have to write credit over here, it is understood. Okay, so you have one debit column, you have one credit column. Both has to be same, 25,000, 25,000. Okay, so this becomes a journal entry. But yeah, in this sum I am not doing journal entry. I want you all to understand which are the two accounts, what is their nature, okay, and what are the rules and how you are going to apply it. Okay, next one is sold goods for cash. Okay, now if you see again, the two accounts is goods, okay, sale is happening, and one is cash. Both are real. Okay, so debit what comes in? Cash is going to come in. So cash comes in. I'll have to debit it. Goods are going out. Means what is happening? Sales. Okay, so goods are going out. So credited. Okay, so see this. Your sales account will be credited. Cash account will be debited. Okay. Sold goods for cash, rupees 20,000. It's not recorded in that. Yeah, here it is. Sales account debit. Sales and cash. Cash is coming in, 20,000 comes in, and goods are moving out. So it is like sales. In sales, goods are moving out, goes out. So debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Alright. Moving to next. Now I have purchased goods from Mr. Bansal, okay, for cash. Again, this is a purchase made in cash. So cash is going to go out, okay, and purchase goods. Okay, purchases again, yes. One more important thing. If you see, no, purchase and sales are like a nominal account also. Okay, nominal account. Purchase is an expenses. For me, for the company, it's an expense. That is why always I'll debit it. And sales is an income. That is why I'll always credit it. Nominal account rule is the same. No, debit the expense, credit the income. Okay, so for purchase and sale, even this rule will apply. So if I am purchasing goods for cash, cash being the real account, it is going out, cash will be credited. Purchases I have made, it is a nominal account, it is an expense, I will debit it. So see here. Okay. Purchase account, it is debited. Okay, it is a nominal account, it's an expense. Okay, cash account, it is a real account. Okay, what is happening to this real account? It is moving out. So whatever goes out, it is credited. So the journal entry will be purchase account debit, whatever is the amount, to cash account, whatever is the amount. Okay, quickly to the next. I have sold goods, company. When I say I am talking about company. Sold goods to Mr. Charles, rupees 8,000 on credit. Means cash तो यहाँ पे मिला ही नहीं. Who is the receiver of the goods? Mr. Charles. Personal account. Okay, debit the receiver. Correct. So debit the receiver. Since this is the personal account. And sale. Sale has taken place. Sale is a nominal account. Income. So I'll credit the income. So see here, sales account, it will be credited, and Mr. Charles, it is the personal account. Okay, I will always debit the receiver. He is receiver of my goods. So Mr. Charles account debit to sales. Okay. Next is purchased furniture for rupees 6,000. So furniture is a real account coming in. For rupees 6,000 means there is the cash which is going to move out. Both are real account. Okay, both are real account. So you will debit what comes in and you will credit what goes out. Okay. Moving to next, I have paid rent. Okay, rent is an expense. Cash is moving out, so expense I will debit. Okay, cash is moving out. Credit. So see, rent account will be debited, cash account will be credited. Rent is an expense. Next is similarly I have paid wages. Wages is my expenses. 5,000, cash is going to move out. Purchase goods from Ajit on credit. Okay. So purchase goods from Ajit on credit. Ajit is a personal account. He is the giver. So credit the giver. And purchase is an expense. Nominal account. Debited. Okay. So see this. It is going to be purchase account debit. Ajit's account will be credited. Dividend is being received. Dividend is an income for the company. Okay, so cash is going to come in. So cash debit, and even dividend is an income, so it will be credited. So you will have cash account will be debited and dividend account will be debited, and dividend account will be credited because dividend is an income, nominal account. Nominal account. Okay. Next is a machinery which is sold. Machinery is moving out. Machinery is a real account. Okay, it is moving out. So it is moving out. I will credit the machinery account. And it is being sold. That means obviously I am going to get some money if I am selling it. Okay. So cash account debit. Money is going to come in. Comes in when I sell the machinery, and machinery is going out. Okay. And the last one is outstandings for salary. Okay, salary is not yet been paid. Salary is an expense. Okay, so salary, since it is an expense, I will debit it, nominal account. Okay, it is an expense. And outstanding salary is a personal account, representative personal account. Okay, they are like a giver. Credit the giver, no, they are not yet taken it, like they have given me a credit, I have not yet paid to them. Company is not yet paid to them, means you become like a creditor, no. Giver means a creditor. Who is giving us? Bank is a creditor, he gives us money, gives us loan. Okay, so that will be credited. Okay, personal account, representative personal account, you will credit the outstanding salary account. Okay, so you all can again practice this same sum with the notes which I have given to you all, and this will help us understand our equation. I told you the equation, capital is nothing but assets minus liabilities. See this, Mr. A, he started the business with 50,000 rupees as his capital. So immediately this business, this firm will have 50,000 as cash. Cash is the asset, it will be recorded on the asset side. Okay, it will be recorded on the asset side. So capital हो गया और cash आ गया मेरे पास. So capital 50, cash also 50. My balance sheet will tally first. But then at the same time, the firm will owe to the owner also 50,000. So capital 50,000, cash also 50,000. My balance sheet will tally. Okay, now the firm has purchased the furniture of 10,000 out of the money which A had given. Capital जो था 50,000, no? Now that is being used, 10,000 is being used to buy a furniture. So capital 50 will always be there, but now cash will only be 40. Why? Because with that cash I purchased furniture of 10,000. So see, now also capital is the same as my assets. Both cash and furniture are my assets. This is also an asset. Now also 50,000, 50,000. It is still the same. Capital is equal to the assets. Subsequently, what happened is business borrowed some 15,000 from the bank. So once I borrow money, cash will come in. तो पहले cash था 40 plus 15,000 bank loan. So 55,000. Correct? Already I have this furniture of rupees 10,000. So 55,000 plus 10,000. Apart from the capital, there is one more liability now which has come, which is a bank loan. So capital is also here. So capital plus liability will give me my assets. Okay, so this is known as the accounting equation. Accounting equation, capital plus liability is equal to assets. Okay, so this is an accounting equation. They will ask you this for your MCQs. Even certain practical MCQs are attached with this. Okay, So now this is it with part 1 of your this chapter. Part 2 talks about the ledgers and then recording the journal entries and then also recording the cash book. Okay, so all those additional things in accounts. Today the lecture was only restricted of giving you all a brief on how to go about with this subject and the first chapter, that is introduction to financial accounts. Okay, you all can find my notes on the link which I have already provided to you all. Okay, you can make a file of question bank and of your answers, keep them with you all, and you can refer it as and when I am doing the chapter. Okay, so tomorrow, now in my next lecture, I will be continuing with part 2, recording of the transactions. Okay, thank you so much everyone.